Yep, it's that time again. Sport Convos with Eddie and Mike. It's me, Mike, and I'm here with my guy.
Eddie P. I like to wear my hat forward too.
I was thinking about rocking the Quinn style today, but not with snapbacks. Like with snapbacks, it's just.
That's what you want me to do? Or should I go DJ drama on you?
I always like that style better on other people than myself. Um, Nevertheless, we'll talk about Dan Quinn and the Commanders as they start their mini camp, their mandatory mini camp. Then we'll talk about some other football things. Steelers making some Steeler moves. Then we'll follow that up talking a little NBA Finals. Celtics are up 2-0. Game 3 is Wednesday night. So
Yes.
we'll talk about that or preview that or talk about the series so far or whatever. Caitlin Clark, man, this is like the 4th straight episode we're bringing her up, but it is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll also forgot what was the other topic we'll talk about, but we'll bring it up later. Anyway, y'all know how we doing it.
History topic coming at you.
It's summertime. We chilling. Again, what's up, Eddie? Anything you want to talk about before we start talking?
I would like to address the washcloth versus non-washcloth discussion when it comes to people of your skin color and my skin color, but I only want to address that for humor. But that's not something.
I'm intrigued.
Okay, so and it's weird because I know this is going to be like TMI to a degree, but so there's this thing out there where Black people use washcloths when they're in the shower or in the bath, I guess you could say. I guess a loofah is sort of an extension of that. And me, for a while now, I just have a bar of soap, and that's my bar of soap. I don't share it with anybody. Let me put that out there first and foremost. And I just rub the bar of soap where I need to rub it, pause, and I then continue to scrub with my hands to further extend the coverage of said soap, and I rinse off and that's it. There are people out there that say, oh, that's nasty. And it again becomes like a race thing. As a kid, I did used to use a washcloth. That's what's crazy. I used to use a washcloth. Now, I'm not saying you're dirty or you're this and that, and I get you can wring it out and whatever. But I kind of feel like after maybe even as little as 2 days, that washcloth, the mold and the kind of sitting bacteria factor becomes in play. Now, to double down on that, I want it understood. I take a shower in the morning before I go to work. Once I dry off with that towel, unless I'm using it on the floor to step on the next time when I take a shower, that towel is done and going into the washer dryer pile. So just throwing that out there. We've taken up a lot of show on this. I hope I didn't offend anybody. It's on anybody dirty, but I just feel like I'm not to be called dirty because I hold the bar of soap in my hand and scrub myself with it.
Do you feel dirty, bro?
Not at all.
Are people telling you that
you stink?
Clean
and smelling good. Somebody gonna like me.
Are people telling you that you stink?
No, not at all.
As your wife, your child.
Seen discussion brought up. No, Mike.
No, I get it. I'm just telling you, like, just wash up. I don't care if you're using your hand.
I promise.
I got
washing up is a very consistent thing around here.
I have I just purchased 2 scrubbing mitts. Basically, they're like gloves, and like, cause I get in it, like I gotta scrub hard or whatever. So I am washing with my hands coincidentally, but it's scrub. But yeah, you don't know what, like, cause something going on with my skin. And
that's another thing. We all like are using different soaps and whatnots, and then like the same, I
Yeah,
understand some people might use a loofah, or your case, you're using some of those things. I know they got the thing you can post on the wall now. And that's
I'm
fine.
just saying, like,
I'm
just
all for
wash up.
everything, whatever works.
I don't care if I like if you got a BO and you close to me and it's continuous, then I'm gonna have to say something for your sake, not even just for me, but for your sake. But like, I know what the debate you're talking about. I never understood it. However,
However,
I was laughing though when earlier when you first started talking about it, not for you, but because the Bama. I forgot. I don't think it's Jesse. It was a Redskins fan or Commanders fan on Twitter. Um, it might have been Jesse. I don't remember. But anyway,
was it
he
you,
said
Jesse?
people.
Did you do that?
No, he said people
I know.
like got on him or whatever because he said he never washed his legs in the shower. That
That's weird. That's
he'll
weird.
just
Sorry.
he said he'll just like lather up top or whatever and let the soap run down. And if it gets his legs, it gets his legs or whatever. Or something like that. And I commented, I was like, bruh, so you're admitting
Funky.
that it's not even 100%. And he was like, oh, well, yeah. I was like, oh my goodness. So every time, pause, but every time I'm in the shower and I like get to washing my legs, I think about this Bama playing Russian roulette on if his legs is clean or not.
Are they not a part of your body? Like, what?
Like, bruh,
He has to have the funkiest like shoes and socks and everything. Like, oh my god!
I
I don't
mean,
know. See that? I think that is far more weird than me using a bar of soap again that only I use. I could see if like you share it with other people, but even then, the washcloth. I don't know. I don't know. Kind of getting into a
yeah, and
triangle there.
especially if it's just you and your wife in the same bathroom or
Oh
whatever.
no, the wife has multitude of bottles.
And that's what I was about to say. I'm pretty sure she has a completely different. You probably like don't study it or
I have
whatever.
a little wooden box thing, and I put my soap on that, and I mean my soap. I know people can't see, listening to it, but the box and the soap can fit in my hand like this, and it goes into the corner of my shower. The corner. That's all I got, and that's all
All
I need.
right.
I don't have any hair, so it goes head face. I wash and scrub, and then I rinse off, and then I do body, legs and feet included. Fucking weirdos. And well, I mean, I'm sorry, like shoe fits, wear it. Like that is just good God.
All right. So
And then that's
we
it. And I rinse off, and then I dry off, and I'm doing
we've been on this
what
topic
everybody else is doing,
for.
putting underwear and socks and clothes and shit on. Like,
All right, we've been on this topic for a minute, but I feel like if I don't ask this question, people might be disappointed or whatever.
here we go.
So,
Here
what
we
is
go.
what is your go-to soap?
Uh, I hate to say it
I
because
have a
like I
brand that
heard
you're
it's expensive.
right now.
Uh, Dr. Squat.
Hold on, you froze. Start over again.
Okay. I hate to say it because it's a little bit pricey, but I really like it, and I'm actually gonna have to re-up. But Dr. Squash soap,
Hey, I
that's
just brought their deodorant.
yep. I use the deodorant as well. But
Yeah, that
that's mostly
deodorant is
because like
fire.
I got free little samples and whatever. I don't know. I just like it. Got some good smells. Unfortunately, the pine tar
Oh,
one stains my shower, so I can't use that one anymore.
I don't know if it's a hood thing, a black people thing, or if it's just that fire. But because I haven't, the only reason I say that because I haven't ran into a white person that said it. But almost unanimously, the favorite soap that I've heard is Irish Springs. the
Okay.
green one or the blue one. I don't. I think I have like the aloe version or whatever. But Irish Springs, I think it's because of the long lasting scent. Like that's a powerful suit. Like
Yeah.
I can still
Actually
smell
supposed to be
hints of
good
it
for
from
keeping
this morning.
the skeeters and other bugs like that if you put it around the window.
What
Like,
soap?
yeah, the Irish
Uh,
Spring.
oh yeah. Oh
Because
okay. I
it'll
never
dry
tried that.
out. It'll dry all the bugs out. But between the Dr. Squash orders, waiting for that, I'm a Dove guy. We've been a Dove guy, Dove
That's
fan.
the second. That's the second most that I've
Because
heard.
they have varieties now. You can get the
Yeah.
Dove version of Irish Spring. Uh,
Really?
I mean, sorta. It's not the same, but it's
I think my
like
family's
a Dallas
favorite
ale,
Dove.
whatever.
They were just talking about it. It's the cucumber melon. I think.
Yep. Hmm.
Um,
I've gotten that before.
I I don't really. It's I don't like Dove like that. I like Dial better than I like Dove.
Okay, yeah, yeah. I'm familiar with Dial. I'm familiar with their work. Got you. Got
But
you. Yeah. So
speaking of
training camp, right?
cleaner,
What do you
yeah.
what kind of soaps are they using? Can you
Hopefully the
imagine you
good
roll up
kind.
on them like, hey, what kind of soap did you use
I
today?
bet I bet Irish Spring is present, even if it's not heavily present. Somebody got some Irish Spring in that commander's locker, bro.
Real
I
quick,
bet Forbes
you
got
can
it.
just put that in your drawers, like not your underwear necessarily, but the drawer that keeps your underwear. You can put just like bars of soap, like if you
Oh yeah,
close the
I've done
drawer,
that accidentally.
it,
Like
well, you just put it in there and it gives your clothes like a nice smell. Come out
yeah,
smelling good.
I've done it accidentally. But yeah, like the commanders, they cleaned house like we clean our bodies. We're supposed to clean our bodies. And bruh, I just want to start off with this regarding Commanders mini camp. You could tell that this team is being better prepared, not only based on what you see or hear or whatever, but just based on the coaches themselves. The coaching is almost like without a game being played, you can just tell that there's so much connected compared to the previous regime. Like you could tell the enemy and Del Rio was cool with each other and didn't have any beef or whatever with each other. But you could also tell that there was kind of no cohesion with it. Whereas with um, Dan Quinn, I feel like if you aren't working well with other coaches, you probably get fired or you wouldn't even have a job anymore because that's how much he cares about communicating and connection or whatever. So just based on that alone, like um, I continue to be impressed by this hire. Like I feel so dumb for downplaying the thought of it even happening when we were all going goo goo gaga for Ben Johnson and the offensive explosion that was coming from Detroit and the innovation. Failing to realize that we might just need a leader at head coach that understands the importance of cohesion and the importance of bringing in other people that's innovative and not necessarily having to do it all on his own. So, yeah, I am continue to be impressed by Dan Quinn. Do you have any thoughts on that, my brother?
Well, I think certainly there's a lot to be said about somebody, and we touched on this before, a guy who has that kind of experience going from D coordinator to head coach back to D coordinator, and you got to think there's something to be learned and knowledge to be gained from each of those situations. But being that motivated, going D coordinator, head coach, having the success that he had as head coach, and then in a way, and I'm sure somewhat this was his choice because maybe there were head coaching options that he turned down based on a number of reasons. But now he's back to D coordinator, and there's sort of like a humbling going on there. And so now maybe from the D coordinator position, he sees things that the head coach went through that he couldn't see as the head coach, nor could he see the first time around as D coordinator. I know that's like a whole little loop-de-loop I took you on there. But yeah, I think there's a lot to be said for what I just talked about, along with the motivation to be like, hey, second go around, I'm about to show y'all I learned a thing or two. I'm about to come at y'all, and more so the comfortability of having what's my man, Witt Jr., right? Yeah, having him there, knowing that they're, like, cut from the same cloth, at least to an extent, because he's just coming over from Dallas, and I'm sure they have other staff as well, whether they're quality control and those types of things. So, that ought to make the transition smooth, and I think overall, it's not, "Hey, like, let's get really excited," but I think in a way we will be, only because we haven't seen this kind of structure and this sort of like follow through. It's like God, I'm about to. Uh, I apologize. It's about to be weird, but it's if single mom got the kids, whatever, and then new guy comes in, he's the stepdad, and to a degree, that's just really rough because all the responsibilities. Uh, None of the yeah, n- anyway, comes in, puts the foot down and like straightens everything up, and just it is essentially kicking ass, but only from a standpoint of, hey, the bar was really low. And none of that's a shot at Dan Quinn. I promise you that. But when you hear the stories and kind of look at the way things have been for a while, it just kind of seems like going through the motion is a regularity. And this kind of seems like, hey, like, you want to do that crap, you can kick rocks. So I think it's gonna be a new era of excitement, but again, only because this is like we're playing catch up, like American soccer is to the rest of Europe and South America and the world, for that matter. I think that's kind of what it's like. Not something to pat ourselves on the back about, but you get it.
Yeah, I was about to say I get it. So apparently, Jaden Daniels was the starter in minicamp. He was QB1, but Quinn said that they might rotate. So expect Mariota to be one tomorrow and Daniels to be two. But on top of that, Craig Hoffman said that he kind of struggled today. That was the first time that he looked like a rookie, quote. Um, I like it. I'd rather him
Yeah.
struggle early now because later on today, Terry McLaurin was like, he is the most prepared young quarterback that he's ever played with. And I don't even think it was a shot towards any other young quarterback that he's ever played with. It was more of high praise for Daniels for
I'll give
being that prepared.
Dan Quinn.
Um,
I'll do it.
so, so I, like I said, I'm happy that he's struggling early. That way he can learn it. And it's not like he's not going to struggle during the season or whatever. It's just nice to have a little trust in your quarterback early, based on what others are saying, even when he is struggling. Since it's not a real game right now, it don't really matter as long as he's making himself better day by day.
Yeah, obviously, just to piggyback, you being clear, you're not happy that he's struggling. You're happy for his development that he's struggling at this point in his career or in the season, if you will. So,
Yeah, no, I want him to struggle.
words in your
F that bell, but no, I'm joking.
not to put words in your mouth, but just, because I knew what you meant. And yeah, absolutely. Like, why not? Definitely a good thing. Let's see how he responds. Let's see, you know, what we, we being the coaching staff, the whoever's that are the powers that be, let's see what they see and what decisions they can make to sort of remedy this or kind of help the learning curve if need be, because everything I'm hearing is that there's like a lot of energy and leadership, just a lot of lead by example kind of things going on with this kid, which is awesome to hear, don't get me wrong, but I think you and I, like, hey, stay healthy, get us wins, and like it's not just necessarily like let's win now, but let's win and kind of really start to turn this thing around and maybe getting back to some of that tradition that we used to have. It doesn't mean, we're going to be called the Redskins again. I'm not saying any of that, but just the idea that, when guys signed here as free agents, or, we made a move for a guy, like, it was to win. It wasn't, hey, oh, we got this guy now, and maybe that'll get us, a few more season ticket holders, jersey sales, none of that. Like, so yeah, let's see how he responds. And let's see how the team and the coaching staff responds as well, because that's going to be just as important as how he responds.
Right. And yeah, like that's another decision. Well, I was never like down on Daniels. It was just hard to um, know which quarterback that I wanted for the team. And even up to the day of the draft, I was still leaning towards May because just felt like his tools were better and um, yeah, he would grow with the team or whatever. But it wasn't like I was completely against the Daniels pick either. I understood what he brought to the table. And just like the Dan Quinn hire, I can admit that I may have been wrong. And it's more about the intangibles, the off the field stuff, the stuff that we can't see, that we don't know, that makes them the perfect choice for the positions that they're um, running right now. Because let's face it, like the head coach and the quarterback are the most important positions in the organization. If you can nail those two picks, everything else kind of like fall into place. And I guess the GM, if you want to count that, but I feel like even if you got a sorry GM, if your quarterback and coach is good, it can kind of overcome that. But obviously, we don't have that problem. We have probably one of the better up and coming GMs in the league right now, and Mr. Peters. So, yeah. And we'll end this week's Commanders Talk, kind of how we started last week's Commanders Talk, talking about kickers. I believe, oh, shoot. Okay, Mystics got their first win of the season by a comfortable margin of 19 points. So
Who they
shout out
beat
to them.
Liberty?
Nah, the Dream. No, that's Chicago. Atlanta. No,
Chicago.
that is the Dream. The Atlanta Dream.
Oh,
I
okay.
think that's who they. I know they beat Atlanta, and I think they're the Dream.
Gotcha.
So,
Chicago's the Sky, I'm pretty sure.
yeah,
Chicago Sky.
yeah, yeah. That's who they are. The Dream whooped them, like I said, by 19 points. So, like I said, shout out to the
Poultry
Mystics.
19.
So we told y'all the Commander signed Ramiz Ahmed last week, who hit a couple of kicks in practice. Doesn't look like he missed any based on what I'm seeing. And also, the Commanders are kind of on a UFL raid right now as
Yeah,
far as
they got a
kicking
couple of
search
guys.
goes. They have brought in McCrane from the Defenders. Shout out to the Defenders. And also they have brought in Andrew Schmidt. Now I was listening to Danny and Grant and Danny today, and if they didn't tell me how to pronounce this dude's last name, I would have never guessed it. This man's last name is spelled
Schmidt.
SZMYT. Schmidt.
Yep.
SZMYT. Boy, I would have tore that name up if ain't.
Smith, Simsit, Semite.
And along with McCrane, I'm sorry, and Schmidt, I'm sorry, along with McCrane and Schmidt, the Commanders are bringing in tomorrow the sensation of the UFL kicker scene, Jake Bates, who I believe hit a 67-yarder, multiple 60-plus yarders this season, but it's actually Schmidt who led the UFL and kicking percentage. I believe he was a nice 19 for 21. He only missed kicks above 55 yards, I think, but he did hit kicks over 55 yards too. So, yeah, I guess it's nice that they're taking this approach of more than one kicker at a time. They got 4 kickers that they're looking at right now that we know of. And that means that they've looked at other kickers as well and probably ruled them out and probably have some more kickers that they want to bring in, some NFL vets. So, yeah, it's going down. Like, McManus really messed up. And I know we can talk all day about getting fired or whatever, innocent until proven guilty or whatever. But at the end of the day, it is what it is. And Washington is looking at a lot of kickers right now. And I think they'll find one that suits the team. I say go with whoever trusts Wasey. Like, trust him.
Yeah, that's one way. That's one way to look at it, pun intended. Real quick on the McManus thing, I'm pretty sure they still gave him the full contract, the full lot that he was owed. I think he got the
Oh,
1
yeah. You
million.
can't.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's a
so
contract. Like,
I
even
heard
if
it.
he did mess up, he gonna get his bread.
Yeah, so there's that. And I think one of the big things where it does seem like not that they jumped the gun because this is a new regime and maybe they want to, put the kibosh on like, hey, this is not what we're going to be about anymore. This ain't going to fly. Uh, I think it's the fact that he kind of neglected to tell the team. There's no way he didn't know that this was coming, and I think that was where they were coming from. Like, hey, like, do you want to like give us a heads up on this or and so I think that's the big thing. Ironically, your man Ramiz, yeah, Ramiz Ahmed, he signed to the Commanders on Tuesday, but used to play for who was the Birmingham Stallions, and the Stallions released him to make room for guess who? Just take a guess of who they made. Chris Blewett.
Oh, hi. I remember. I
Chris
heard his
Blewett, who
name
went
this
to West
season.
Potomac High School, my alma mater. I see
Yeah.
him from time to time at the swimming pool that I work at. We'll say I don't want to pretend like I run the place. Um,
It's not on them banners, bro.
yeah. Oh no, he's a good dude. He's
No,
awesome.
I'm talking
I
about running the
really when
place.
I
If you
see
run
him,
it, you run it.
I've invited him to be on the show, but I don't think that's something he wants to do. And I don't blame him because when we're there, I don't really say much, or ask him a lot of questions, but he will talk to you about football. But a lot of the time it seemed like he talked about his time in Pittsburgh more than he talks about the pros or anything like that. And I think maybe he's just doesn't want anything getting out that would hurt his chances of getting back to the league. That's the only thing I can think. And I don't blame him. I'm not mad. Dude's awesome. Like I said, cool dude.
Nah, that's what's up.
Yeah, for sure. But I just thought it was crazy. They're letting this guy go that we're signing for a guy that we did have. And not to go back to Chris too much, but I know it didn't work out here, but it'd be great if he came back and it did, or just in general, if he gets on somewhere else, as long as it's not in the division, obviously. It'd be great, for him to get on and like start killing it. That'd be awesome. I think it'd be real cool. Even if he doesn't come on the show or I don't, see him anymore, nothing like that. Be great.
If he don't come on the show, no, I'm
It's
joking.
not about us. Like that dude's awesome. Like he deserves to be like, have some good shit. So yeah.
No, you're wrong. It's definitely about us. Nevertheless, but no, seriously. We finally have a Madden cover athlete. I don't know why I didn't think this person would hit the cover, but yeah, my man from the San Francisco 49ers, leading touchdown getter, leading rusher, top 5 finish in the MVP voting, I think, this season. Brother, a 3rd round draft pick for the Commanders. My man, Christian McCaffrey, everybody. Congrats to that man. I think the Madden curse been broke 2-3 times in the last 5 years or so, including last season. I bet you don't even remember who was on the cover of Madden last year,
I
do you?
don't because I've fallen out of all that.
I forgot myself, and I kind of play it.
Who was it?
It was
Hurts?
Josh Allen.
Josh Allen? All right.
Yeah. So shout out to CMC. Definitely getting that college football next month. The combo that comes with Madden. I bought a Series S last week, so if anybody wants to holler at your boy, well, I changed my gamer tag. It's not MLP33ZY anymore. It's tribal. It's tribal P's. Tribal X P's. That's tribal, the word tribal.
Keys.
X P's is P33Z on Xbox. I'm still MLPZ on PS5 though, so get at me on both of those systems.
Get at
But
him.
what's you put that on there as a topic? Is that you just want to mention it, or
Yeah, just thought it'd be interesting. What do do you think with the Madden cover, he's had the success in San Francisco. I think he's getting more money out there too. Do you think that this, and you mentioned the curse is the Madden cover, is that like is he about to ball or
because he's been oft injured? I don't think the curse would
apply
in this situation.
That was another reason. That was another reason specific.
But
this individual,
I think he's so good, and Kyle Shanahan is so good that his stats may not be as monstrous as they were last season, but he's still going to be a threat just because of who he is and his abilities. Even if he does, quote unquote, lose a step, he's still a threat out that backfield because of his intelligence and, yeah, like the man, he cooks. Like what else? Like what else y'all want me to say? Like the man is a beast, and he's with the best play caller of our generation. I feel. Like, well, I guess Peyton Manning might have something to say. Not fair. Like Kyle Shanahan isn't on the field. Peyton Manning gets to literally change things on the field. Like that's like shout out to Peyton Manning. Like that man. If he was with any other organization in the league, I feel like, well, besides Washington, I think he would have had much more success than he had. Like, if he was able to go to a team like Peyton Manning on the Cowboys, he would have effed us up. Like, they probably would have won multiple Super Bowls straight up, bro. But, nah, like, it is what it is. And speaking of good organizations, that wasn't a planned transition. It just happened. The Pittsburgh Steelers, they renewed Mike Tomlin's contract, or extended his contract, I'm sorry, which means that he will coach for 2 consecutive decades for the Steelers. And honestly, again, it just shows how well ran that organization is. And I made a Facebook post comparing it to Washington. Washington has had 13 coaches since I've been born, to the Steelers 3. 2 of those coaches were interim coaches, but we're still talking 11 head coaches to 3. Like I could easily name all 3 of the Steelers head coaches, and I have to actually think a little bit to name my own football team coaches because it's been that many of them.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm talking from Pettibone to Zorn, from Turner to Gruden, Gibbs 1 to Gibbs 2. Like it's just a mess. But like I said earlier, I really think we might have one of them wins. And Dan Quinn, will he stay here 20 years? I highly doubt that. That's not happening. Mm-hmm. But a good 7-year run, I feel like, is on the table for Dan Quinn. But what are your thoughts on the Steelers' extension on Tomlin and the just overall perfectionist that organization seems to have?
When it happened, and I, if I'm not mistaken, I think it's the GM's name is Kevin Tolbert or Kevin Colbert, something like that, and he shares a picture of when they first signed Tomlin to the current time of him signing this extension, and I believe it was at least 10 years from signing to signing the extension, if you will. And it was kind of more the motivation of the topic was just that whether it is Peters, geez, it took me forever to think of his last name, whether it's Peters and Quinn, or maybe some sort of extensions of those guys, coming from the coaching tree or the GM tree, if that's even a thing. So yeah, whether it's Peters and Quinn or again, an extension of, it's just kind of where we'd like to be, that sort of stability, having, front office and head coach, et cetera, being there for a good chunk of time, and obviously you want to have the success that comes with that, but more so just building that foundation to where you can kind of be successful with, a gamble here or there once you're in a situation to gamble, if that makes, I don't know if that makes sense or not, but like, like you pretty much got everything. So let's take a shot on this really good, receiver or whatever else. Kind of like what the Eagles did with T.O.
Yeah, and I'm glad you brought up the Eagles and T.O. because it just goes to show you what a good organization can do with a player like that and what a bad organization does with a player like that. Because not saying that T.O. and Deshaun Jackson is on the same level at all, but both were highly performative. I don't know if that's a word, I made it up. But they perform high. Well, their performance was high in their respective positions. And when Deshaun Jackson came here, he still played well, and the team actually made the playoffs. But the organization was so dysfunctional, they couldn't really capitalize off of any of that. Meanwhile, Philly, same situation, even worse. Matter of fact, T.O. was a hellion when he was in Philly, but they made it all the way to the Super Bowl with him before it blew up. So I'm just saying, like, we need that stability as an organization here in DC. And maybe we can become a team like the Dallas Mavericks, who's competing for a championship against the Celtics. But they're down 2-0 right now, and I'm going to keep it a buck with you. I know Porzingis is banged up.
Oh, he's got some sort of rare injury. You go ahead and try and see what it is. Go ahead.
I didn't even look that deep. I just know like he's banged up, and I'm gonna keep it a buck with you. I honestly don't think it matters, man. The Celtics, they are actively targeting Luka on defense.
Oh yeah,
and it's like whoever gets the ball, you go and attack him and get you a bucket. And it might not work every time, but it's working enough where they are outscoring the Mavericks these first 2 games, and bruh, they might sweep them. I
Yeah.
know it's easy to say right now that they won 2 games at home or whatever, but they win game 3, they probably win a game 4, bro. I'm just being honest with you. This series could be over Friday.
I don't totally disagree. I think Porzingis being out might keep it a little closer, but you're right. They're certainly attacking Luka, and why wouldn't you? Because he's really their only offensive weapon. So if you can wear this guy out, on the other side, make him play defense more often, all of a sudden he's going to be way too tired. I don't know what's going on, but all the things I was talking about Kyrie, and I'm not disrespecting him, I'm not, but it's just like things aren't working right. Again, the thing with Luke on defense, and that kind of creates not disarray, but kind of this like scatter kind of thing where people now don't know what to do because people are just blowing by Luca, and then if they're not attacking, they're dropping off to someone who will attack and get the bucket. And as a result, the other Mavericks defenders, they don't know what to do because they're trying to like jump in and help Luca, but then like stick with their own assignment. And that's sometimes impossible, depending on what part of the floor you're on and where Luke is and where you are. So I think yeah, you can never count Dallas out because if Kyrie starts to catch fire, you know, Luka's been just killing it. He needs some kind of help. He really does. I think the interesting thing, though, that does kind of work towards what you're saying, you know, Boston's killed it the first 2 games. Jason Tatum's best out of those 2 games, like per 18 points. You would think, like, as bad as they're whooping them, like the star player would have like a 30-point game or like a 28-point game. So something to think about. I'm not hating on Tatum. I like his game. I think he's a really good player. I think he's gonna kind of be one of those like super elite. I think he's getting there, obviously being in his second finals now. But and he had, what do you have, 8 or 10 assists? He had high assists last game, so he was making plays. But I think this speaks volumes to is it Brad Stevens. I think he's really put together a good team as a GM last several years. Whether it's
It's
drafting
so
or
weird.
trades.
Like, it's so weird how all that just went down. To, like, man literally went from head coach to GM. Like, it ain't even like Pat Riley, who went from head coach to GM, head coach back to GM or whatever with the Heat. They just smoothly transitioned him and was like, yeah, and one of your former players or assistants want to become the new head coach. And yeah, like it blows my mind how other teams can quickly rebuild, and the Wizards just like. But hopefully, with their new regime, they can find a way to compete. And yeah, like that's all I got for the series. Like, I really think it could be over. It's funny how quickly the narrative of the series changed, where you got these two backcourt savants like cooking, and that they were going to go to Boston and like get these dudes the business, and it's like, nah, you're not. We're too deep over here. We got too many people we can throw at you, Kyrie. You can't do nothing with us. And on the other side, Luka, you can't check nobody. You can't check Drew. You can't. You can't check Jason. Don't even try to check Jalen. Even Mr. Forehead's been giving you the business. Now I know he got the ball cut now, but still, like it's ugly. It's scary hours in Dallas for sure, and they already got up out of there in the Western Conference Finals. Edmonton took them out, so a lot of other things happened in that series too that we are not talking about on this show. But yeah, I'll talk to you about it later though.
Well, okay.
But yeah, it's yeah, like I said, it's going down tomorrow night, and I hope Dallas come out and fight for their lives. Because for the record, I want them to win. I don't really like Boston like that. I love the players, but I hate the city. I hate the city.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I
we'll see
can
though.
get down with that. But you I was gonna try to think of a transition into the Team USA thing because fight, and I was like, everybody wants to
Phil.
fight Clark.
Don't nobody want to fight. Well, Shinity does, but
No, they all do.
Shinity want to fight everybody.
They should
Huh?
hate the media. They shouldn't hate her.
Hate who?
Caitlin Clark.
Oh, you think the media hates her?
No, the other players should hate the media because the media is who
Oh.
brings her up.
Oh yeah,
Like,
yeah,
the media,
yeah.
not her. Uh,
Um,
well, that
but
whole
no, that
the Team USA,
yeah,
people use Leitner as the example, and I think
it's not the same. By the way,
that's
like
fair.
the
I
NBA
don't.
always, it seemed like the NBA always had a rookie that's like a rookie that they put on the roster just to put on the roster to say this is your future, like blah blah blah, whatever. And Christian Leitner was a better college player than Shaq. Like it's not even up for debate. He
Yeah.
might not have been a better NBA player, but nevertheless, yeah,
Well, I think on one end they missed a great marketing situation for her to be there, more eyes, more exposure, etc. As I've mentioned, it's a chance for all of these girls to start really getting paid. Whether it's through the WNBA directly or whether it's other types of endorsements, what have you. Because again, they get noticed because they're in a game or on the same team with Caitlin. And I do understand that it might be annoying where she's not going to play that much because they think that the other girls they selected are better. And that's fine. I don't have a problem with that either because our USA women's basketball team is like favored times 10 compared to the next person when we're talking gambling and odds and things like that. So I get it. She's not needed. Like she's not going to be the difference whether we win the gold or don't win the gold. But I again think for a subsidized league that is having some of the best attendance it's had in years, would want to try to like ride that wave more. And to be fair, it's not just Caitlin, but to a degree, she would be like the catalyst, the front runner. For sure, Aja Wilson and Angel Reese. Who else am I thinking of? There's a tall blonde white girl I think came out of Connecticut. It's pretty good too, if I'm not mistaken.
are you talking
You froze.
about Beckers?
Yes. Yeah, maybe she came out of
She's
Louisville.
still in. No, she in college still.
Oh, okay. No, well, she's gonna be getting paid a lot once she comes out too.
I'm hoping the Mystics can get the first pick and get her. That would be fire.
And she'd be
But
teamed up
they,
with her former college teammate.
but they're saying they think the WNBA is trying to get her to go to Iowa. Indiana with Caitlin Clark, and they're gonna rig the lottery.
I hope.
But I don't know. I don't know if that would work. Like Beckers is that girl. Like, yeah, she can't. I don't know. Like, I feel like she'll overtake Caitlin as the best player on the team, and can the WNBA really afford that? I don't know.
I mean, is she as marketable as Caitlin may be? The thing that gets me is it just seems like you have all of the players and former players like, hey, you know, we need help. We need you guys, attendance and money and blah blah blah. Hey, okay, here's help. No, we don't want that. That's kind of what it feels like. I understand there's resentment, and you think you've worked really hard, and you've put all this time and effort and sweat and blood into this league, and then here comes this rookie, and it's like they're just kind of getting everything, just off the jump, and I, it, that sucks. I get it, but there is again a chance because people are paying attention because of her now, they might notice you too. So you don't gotta like let her win, but just don't be trying to hurt her. That's a golden goose right there. It is what it is. Kind of. I don't know if you heard, but your boy Pat McAfee. There's one bitch in Indiana who's getting all the attention. Like I thought your man was wilding, but I guess that's his thing. So
Yeah, I'm not surprised that he didn't get that much backlash from that. I'm pretty sure he got enough though. But I'm pretty sure ESPN gave him a tongue lashing. But he was on WNBA. He was on WWE the same night or the next night or something, and he called a wrestler one big actually said the word, and next week the wrestler has a shirt that says one big SOB on it, literally SOB, and he's selling it for merch. And like that's genius marketing for the wrestler to capitalize off of a saying that a controversial person said. And merch sales in wrestling is like it's huge. Like you sell a lot of merchandise, you're going to be in a great position as a wrestler. Rather it's on the show or with your pockets. But nevertheless, like you're right. They probably should have put them on the team for marketing reasons or whatever. But it's a lot that goes with that. Who you taking off? Who are you taking off? It's more people that's deserving, and yeah, she's not one of them. Like my man Bolani Jones said, she just flat out doesn't deserve to be on the team. And the question shouldn't be why does she get snubbed or whatever, but the question should have been, does she deserve to be on the team? And the answer is no.
Well, I think another part of it too was just the distraction factor, which a little bit of BS. I think it's more so where like she might not have played that much, and then they would constantly have to field questions about why she didn't play that much. So, and by the way, just want to throw this out there, whether it's sincere and contrite or just a really good PR team, or maybe just a splash of both. Caitlin Clark continues to respond to all these kind of things with just the utmost class. Just saying like, hey, I was really bummed, but I understand, and I'm still going to be cheering for them, and I'm going to, take this time to work, and hopefully I make it next time, and just kind of those kind of things. So it just kind of makes you like it even more. I mean, like it. Excuse me. That was very Anyway, like her even more. So I mean, hey, is what it is. I don't think it's going to make any difference whether they win the gold or not. But again, I feel like, hey, it's that old story. I know you know this, where the guy's in a flood and he prays and the boat comes along and he says, "Oh no, Jesus is going to come for me." And the boat goes, and then he prays and another boat comes, and he same thing, sends the boat on, and then finally he dies and goes to heaven. He's like, "Jesus, why didn't you help me?" He's like, "Man, I sent you two boats. Like Caitlin Clark is those two boats." That's what it is. Like, y'all needed help. Here you go.
Nah, that is I wouldn't say necessarily blocking your blessing, but they made it too personal. They made it too personal. They got too emotional about it. And instead of welcoming this person into the league, everybody got to be tough and.
Well,
But I mean, hold on. Let's rewind this like way back. Caitlin Clark is an agitator in all
yeah.
of
Oh,
this.
I'm not. I didn't say like
If she was more
just sitting on
chill,
the bench
I
minding
think,
her business, and then they come up like
yeah,
throwing eggs at her. No.
I think if she was more chill, this wouldn't be as big of a deal. But since she is a bit feisty, especially when she cooking, then yeah, people are going to snap back. But I do feel like lines are crossed because of her stardom
I got it.
sometimes.
Listen, it gets deeper, okay? And I'm really like, God, ladies, do not come for me. But I need you to understand this kind of stuff is actually somewhat rampant in that league. All right.
Mm-hmm.
I give you another example. Skylar Diggins. I can't remember what team she plays for now, but she used to play on the same team as
She might be retired.
Maybe, but before she retired, she was on the same team as Diana Taurasi, and then like they weren't getting along. They had some kind of beef on the court, like or I mean, excuse me, on the bench. Arguing about
Oh
stuff.
no, she played for the Storm. I'm sorry.
Yeah, and then it got to be kind of personal where like she sat out a few games after that argument thing I said, and then like she had a kid, and then she's trying to rehab and get right back into shape, but she was not allowed to be at the facilities of said team or have access to massage, nutritionist, and all that. So it's like they kind of cut her out. And then like the social media team doesn't wish her a happy birthday and all that. And don't get me wrong, I know that like to people like, maybe your age, especially my age and up, that it doesn't sound like that big a deal, but it's a little bit of a reflection of the team distancing itself from her and kind of taking sides with Tarasi. And I'm just putting that out there as like some kind of spat. Furthermore, she goes play for the Storm, first game back, somebody for the other team for her former team elbows her, bloodies up her face. I'll do even one better, and I feel so bad I don't know everybody's name involved. There's a lady who plays in WNBA in the WNBA named Alyssa Thomas. Now, this is going to be very hard to follow because again, I only know her name. She was dating a woman and they played on the same team together. And then I believe Alyssa or the woman she was married to even, one of them was like the leading scorer or leading assist for whatever team they played for. Well, Alyssa ends up leaving her and marries another woman and then breaks her ex-wife's record whilst passing to her future wife. And they and this is against each other that this happens. So all this like kind of drama stuff is like, hey, it's kind of crazy. There's a lot of like TikToks and things going on now, like kind of talking about that stuff and like saying like, oh man, this spicy. This interesting. So if you didn't know about the WNBA and the spiciness, you do now.
Yeah, and I'm honestly not surprised at all about any of that. The only reason it's probably more open is because, let's face it, being a lesbian is more accepted than being a homosexual male, which means in the WNBA, it'll be more accepted to be in an open relationship with a teammate or a former teammate or whatever, or enemy or whatever, than it would be in a man's league. So you'll get that added element. And I feel like this might sound stupid, but the product isn't as exciting as the men's product. And we just gotta be honest. Like, that's keeping it a buck. They should feed more into the drama, I feel like. It might seem dumb, but the NFL does it. they market their league incredibly well. Now they do try to keep a line not to cross, but man, let like we see it all the time. Like the Cowboys are like on the prime time like every week
Live on the line.
because of the drama.
Cowboys
So
live on the line.
I'm just saying, bro. But that's all I got in me, man. If it's something else you want to talk about, the floor is yours. But
No, I'm good. Getting
I
ready
think
to
I'm good for the day.
go have like a late dinner and call it a day. Night, both of them.
I hear that, bro. Well, thanks for riding with us, y'all. We are still in the midst of a organizational change ourselves, and
It's
yeah,
true.
things are going to get better. You're going to see more consistent content, and until then, just hold on, keep the faith.
Yep, we gonna be all right. We
So.
gonna be all right.